So it came to my attention the other day that gaming as a culture is now evolving. We now have things like the Xbox One Elite controller and things like the SCUF gaming controllers that came before that, and we have mechanical keyboards like I have my Razer Black Widow Chroma. You also have stuff like I think it's the Logitech G970 Plus mechanical keyboard and the Orion Spark. All these peripherals and including gaming mice that are made towards precision, and we've really kind of upped the ante, but have the games really changed that much? But that's the question at the end of the day. I mean, back in my dad's day, they were playing Mortal Kombat. So that's kind of the subject today is Mortal Kombat was his competition. He wanted to beat his friends, and it was button mashing. It wasn't precision aiming. It wasn't things like that like we have today. So the question is what the need for these precision tools, or the rise of them, really. Like the Xbox Elite controller, or Xbox One Elite controller I guess I should say, is a $150 controller, and I actually have one of them, as well as the SCUFs. I think they can get upwards to $200. Now you ask yourself, or you can sit there and go, why does anyone need that? And I mean, I'll be straightly honest, it's not a necessity type thing that's the problem, or really why it's even bought. It's more of a preference, or even a helpfulness due to the added tools like the paddles and the swappable thumbsticks, and even the swappable D-pad or the trigger locks on the Xbox One Elite controller. Gaming as a culture has evolved into a competition. We now have video game tournaments. We have Counter-Strike being played on a global scale. So you need these peripherals that can help enhance or even reflect the player's skill, because it's kind of the same thing with a gun. A true trained marksman or rifleman is always going to have a better shot than typically any untrained marksman, but you can also give him the best gun in the world, and a guy who is just a better shot can take a crappier gun and probably beat the guy with the better gun 8 out of 10 times. Now, performance will become an issue at some point as far as guns are concerned over longevity, but it's kind of the same thing for these new generation of gamers, which we are. It's now a thing of we need these tools, or not even need really, like I said, it's more we prefer these tools that give us more options and more precision and stuff like that to really extend past what we've had before. And for these people who are the pro gamers or even YouTubers or stuff like that, it's something that expands their horizons, their competitive play, gives them another edge, another tool into their toolkit, if you may. And they learn how to put these things to use, and that's kind of where gaming has headed, is towards this ultra competitive thing. Now when I play Call of Duty, I remember when I was playing it in high school, I really didn't care that much. But I'm not the guy who messages you at the end of every game like a douchebag and tells you to sell your game and stuff like that. But I am the guy that as you play, or really any game I play, I'm going to try to win. And I'm going to do what I can on my half or my part for my team to make sure I can win, especially like in Destiny. When hard raids and stuff first came out, I was the guy who was coming up with strategies or leading our team or kind of calming everybody down and really kind of pushing through those 3 to 4 hour grinds of first learning how to do all the stuff. So you have things like that, and you have these guys who get to the top of the game, like I believe Optic Gaming on the Call of Duty front. They go to these tournaments and they play people who are incredibly talented at all of these games, and these tools that they take with them are just added benefits, or really just another thing that can help them. Gaming headphones are another prime example. But where do the expensive upscale controllers come into handy? Well, the paddles on the back have come into handy in multiple different games. Fallout 4, for me, I have mapped stim pack, I think it's like down on the D-pad, to one of my back paddles, so now I can just pop it and I can pop a stim pack automatically. And that's just another added feature that makes the game more enjoyable to me, as well as slightly more playable. I'm not trying to like be stingy or prissy or anything, but I just feel like that's a nice feature that's kind of, it gets left out of the control scheme to just have a regular just stim pack button, because there's not room on the controller, as well as the grip that comes on the Xbox One Elite controller. With the way my hands sweat and with the way I play games, it's it's something that was added that I can't stress enough that it needs to be on every controller. Now, as far as paddles, maybe not, or trigger locks, stuff like that. You know, maybe that's not for everybody, but I truly enjoy them. I think it's really improved my game personally. And that's the thing, is it's not targeted at the casual gamers. It's targeted at more of the hardcore, the more serious gamers, and it has come about because of the hardcore or the more serious gamers asking for it. So of course, with the added functionality and the added comfort and stuff like that, you get to a higher price point, and that's how these controllers have really kind of risen in gaming community as a whole. We've become more competitive, and we all want to do really, really good at the games we're playing. And even like with Twitch or YouTube now, everybody wants, you know, the good product that they think's really going to help them. But like I said earlier, it takes, the man makes the controller doesn't make the man. Same with any gun or even a gaming mouse for PCs. There's a lot of people who think if they get a higher end mouse that their aim will get better. That's typically not true. So the competition that we've created as a gaming culture has extended, or if not extended, expanded into our peripherals now, and it's even a competition between companies to get the peripheral that, you know, looks better or feels better. Just like with the Razer Black Widow Chroma, it's not the best mechanical keyboard because it uses their own proprietary switches rather than cherry switches, which I prefer. But I love my Black Widow Chroma. I like the RGB lighting on it specifically. I think it's the best lighting out of any of the RGB keyboards on the market so far. But the keys are unbearably loud, which I kind of like, and they're clicky, but at the same time I'd rather have some cherry red MX switches, but that's just me personally. And at the end of the day, it all comes down to preference. Do you prefer a controller that costs $150 for a few extra buttons and a few extra customization options? I know I sure do, and I haven't really looked back ever since I've done it. But back in my day, and like when I was 16, 17, and scuffs were just getting to the market, or really modded controllers, I never saw the insight as to why people would ever need something like that. Now, as I've gotten older and I've gotten more competitive through gaming and other things in my life, I just want to be successful at whatever I do. And I feel like the added controller functionalities these days have really added to that. So that's just kind of my 2 cents on where the gaming community has kind of headed and how we're doing things these days as far as controllers. I understand 150 price mark for some of these things is crazy, but at the end of the day, be proud at where we're sending the community, and be proud of the advancements that we've made, not only in gameplay, but as well as the peripherals we're using, and we're making companies set standards. So at the end of the day, be proud to be a gamer in the way we're handling the culture these days. Thank you guys for watching the video, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.